I think Button's just proposed to her again, and he went down on one knee. She's got more than a contract.
It's all happening, isn't it?
8:20. Good luck to them. Good to see them thriving. But it's not just theatres that are struggling this winter with rising costs. Animal charities have also told Breakfast that they are feeling the pressure too.
Yes, Newcastle Dog and Cat Shelter say they're seeing puppies left on their doorstep for the very first time. Alison Freeman is there for us this morning. And Alison, there's some desperate stories coming out of there.
Yeah, there really are. I'm going to show you a few of the guys that are living here at the moment. I mean, they say never work with children or animals, don't they? A moment ago, it was an absolute cacophony of barking. It could happen again, but look at Mr. Amy here, the greyhound. He's having, a lovely little treat of peanut butter just to keep him a little bit quiet while we're on air. But, you know, it's just one of the many animals, one of around 1,000 that they take in here at the Newcastle Dog and Cat Shelter. We've got Molly in there, also having a little bribery treat. We've also got Eskimo too, but what they're seeing is a rise in the number of puppies that are being brought in to try to find a loving home. I'm joined now by Chris. Come on over, Chris. Chuck, come and join me. Chris has got puppy Nellie, who's much more interested in her treat than talking to me. What is the change in behaviour that we've seen with animal owners?
Well, there's been a lot of challenges associated with animals being kept indoors for quite a few years, so they're not socialised as they would have been. So it has been really tough, both for the dogs, the puppies, and for owners as well.
So those puppies are going to coming here, basically?
They are essentially, some people are struggling with that behaviour, and therefore they're looking for alternatives, or they just can't cope. So eventually they decide to make the decision, we're going to hand their pet into a shelter like us.
But there is a cost of living crisis element here, isn't there? Tell me about people's changing views towards their pets.
I mean, it is really challenging, isn't it, in terms of the cost of food, the cost of vet costs. People do really find that difficult, and I think people sometimes think they stare at a radiator, they stare at their dog, and they think they've got to make a choice between are they going to heat their home or are they going to feed their pet. So it's a really, really difficult time for people at the moment. We really see that in the shelter.
You were saying as well that there's sort of people seeing animals as more of a luxury item and part of the family in some ways.
I genuinely think that's the case now. People are thinking, can they afford to have a pet? Many years ago that wasn't the situation. Now absolutely it is. The cost of living crisis is having a huge impact on families and people around the country.
You're doing your bit, aren't you, to try to make sure that people do look after their animals?
We are, yeah. We work with food banks locally, so any excess food that comes into the shelter that we don't need, we'll try and distribute through our shops, and if not, we'll also get it through food banks so that it gets to dogs that need it and cats as well.
So you're giving it out at a heavily discounted price, aren't you, when it goes through your shop?
In the shops it's very cheap, yes, so we do get people going into our shops to buy it, and then, like I say, any excess food, we want it to get to dogs. We don't want pets to be left without food, so anything that we don't need, we'll make sure goes to a good home.
And it's not just dogs that you're seeing here, you've got a variety of animals. Tell me about what you've got here.
Well, we're an animal sanctuary as well at the shelter, so we also have donkeys, we have horses, we have a goat called Houdini, and we have sheep as well, and some pigs, so it's quite a lively site.
You're having your own struggles here at the moment as well. Tell me how the cost of living crisis is affecting you.
Massively affecting the shelter. So our energy costs currently are around about £50,000 per year. They're likely to go up to anything like £200,000 per year, which is an extraordinary rise that we're just not in a position at the moment to. So we have to raise money to cover those costs because it's a huge rise, massive rise for us.
So this is your Warm Paws campaign, isn't it? Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, it is the Warm Paws appeal. So we've gone out to the public to ask for donations, either regular giving, which is wonderful, or one-off donations. And I have to say, the public in the North East have been wonderful at helping us, and we really need it at this time.
The cost of living crisis, if people are worried about being able to look after their pets, tell me what they should do. You know, this is the last resort here, really, isn't it?
It is. They can always contact the shelter, they can have a conversation with us and talk to us about their circumstances. There usually are ways in which we can help in the short term or through that food bank situation. So first port of call is to give us a call and have a conversation.
Thank you so much, Chris. Thank you so much to Nellie as well. Beautifully behaved. Nellie actually now lives with Chris, so she's okay, she's got a home. But let's just take one last look over here. This is little Molly. She's a bit of an old lady. Her owner sadly died, and she's still looking for somebody to take her in her senior years. But, you know, as I say, lots of dogs needing to be well looked after at the moment. Back to you guys.
Oh, they've been very quiet, Alison, haven't they? They've been extremely well behaved.
Look at Molly.
If I'd been given that much peanut butter, I think I'd be well behaved as well, actually.
Yeah, me too. Well, look, it's lovely to see them and the great work that they're doing there, and hopefully those puppies and dogs can be rehomed very quickly. Alison Freeman, thank you very much indeed. Thank you, Molly. Oh.
Molly's not bothered. She's just chilling. Very, very gorgeous.
We're here on BBC1 till 9:15.